Welcome back, everyone. Today we are making these incredibly delicious pumpkin cheesecake bars. This is the perfect fall recipe. All of the ingredients will be listed on the screen, so please pay attention and take note. Note that these are not vegan because they do contain eggs. Alright, first things first is that you need to crumble your graham crackers, and you can do this by using a food processor. I used 15 of these vegan graham crackers. It takes about 5 seconds to pulse it in this processor, and then you get these beautiful crumbs that are going to be perfect to make our crust. If you don't have a food processor, you can put the graham crackers in like a Ziploc bag and then just mash them up until you get these fine crumbs. You should have a little over 2 cups of graham crackers, crumbles that is. A quick note, this recipe does make quite a lot. I ended up making 2 of these 9x9 pans, and so if you want to make a smaller amount, I suggest just cutting this recipe in half. Alright, so in one bowl you will gather your unsalted butter, soften at room temperature, along with your sugar and your crumbled graham crackers. Using an electric mixer, whether that's a hand mixer or a stand mixer, you're going to mix this all up. Use the mixer until the butter is mixed with the crackers until you are able to create this texture where you can create this like crust-like texture using a spatula, as you see me doing here. Continue using the spatula to smooth out all the butter to once again create a crust-like texture, because this is what we're doing here. We're making the crust first. Okay, coming along. As you can see here on the screen, this is what yours should look like as well. I'm using 2 small pans. They are about 8.2 by 8.2 inches. I'm using 2 of them, so you will see me cut this crust in half because I'm doing, half of the recipe in one pan, half of the recipe in another pan. As I mentioned before, if you just want to make a smaller amount, cut this entire recipe that you see on the screen in half so that you only make 1 pan. Make sure to place parchment paper in your pan and then spray it with baking spray. And then you're going to, place your crust in there, and using your hands and a spatula, you're going to flatten it out. You want to press it down to create an even layer, as you see me doing right here. So I ended up baking half of this recipe in this glass pan and then the other half in a silicone one. Alright, so then in a separate bowl, you will gather your pumpkin puree. I'm using the brand Libby. I believe that's how it's pronounced, but you can use any pumpkin puree that you find. 1 cup plus 1/4 cup of pumpkin puree. Add your spices, your pumpkin pie spice, nutmeg, and cinnamon. And you will add your 1 tablespoon of flour. This can be any flour of your choice. I did all-purpose flour. And then with your whisk, just whisk it all up, just enough to mix it all together. Make sure it's all fully incorporated with each other. And then set that aside. So in a separate bowl, we're going to gather our 3 packs of cream cheese. Again, this is for the full recipe. You can cut this in half if you choose. It should be at room temp, soften. Add in your 1 cup plus 2/3 cup of sugar using a hand electric mixer or your stand mixer. Beat this cream cheese and sugar mixture until it is smooth. As you can see here, it's looking very smooth. But don't overdo it. You really just want it to be mixed together and for it to look smooth. Make sure to have a spatula handy because you want to make sure that you're scraping the sides of the bowl as you're doing this. Again, just to make sure that everything is mixed well together and all smooth. Once you get it to this smoothness, then you will add your 1/2 cup of regular plain yogurt. And just note, you can also use sour cream instead of yogurt if that's what you happen to have. Also, either of those options can be dairy-free if you choose to. It's really up to you. Add in 1 teaspoon and a half of vanilla extract. And you also want to add a dash of salt. because we used unsalted butter, but don't overdo it, obviously. And once again, using your electric mixer, beat this until it is all combined and smooth. Next, you will beat in the eggs one at a time. As you are adding it, then you are using your electric mixer. As you can see me doing this right here, then add in the next egg and then continue doing that until all 3 eggs are fully incorporated. Make sure that you are using a spatula to scrape down the sides of the bowl. Once again, same thing. Make sure everything is getting mixed in. So once this is done, you're going to have this huge amount of this cream cheese. And then you have that bowl that you set aside with the pumpkin puree and the spices and all that. And you're basically going to take some of this cream cheese one you see here and add it into the pumpkin puree one. So basically we'll have 2 cream cheese fillings. One will be this plain cream cheese color and then the other one will be the orange pumpkin puree color. So that's what we're doing here. We are taking 1.5 cups of this cream cheese filling, and then you're going to pour it into your pumpkin puree filling, the one that you set aside, of course. I hope I'm not confusing you. Like, this is super simple. You basically just want to have 2 fillings, and adding this cream cheese is giving it the cream cheese flavor, obviously, and it already has its flavorings of its own, like the pumpkin and the spices and all of that. So mix. Look at how beautiful and delicious this is. As you were doing that, or if you haven't already, preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Bake your crust for 10 to 15 minutes until it turns golden brown and fragrant, but don't burn it. Once you have your beautiful baked crust, you will scoop out your cream cheese filling as you see me do here. Very simple and easy. You will alternate scoops of your cream cheese filling. Do, the plain cream cheese and then do a pumpkin cream cheese. Plain cream cheese, pumpkin cream cheese. And you can do the technique that I'm doing here. As you can see me scooping some on the top of the scoops that I already had, keeping in mind that I'm going to use a knife to make little swirls on here. As you can see, it's a lot of cream cheese filling. Like, this is just half of it. You get what I'm saying? Because I made 2 of these pans. Now, using a sharp knife, you will drag and swirl the 2 mixtures together. You can do figure 8s as you see me doing here. Doing a figure 8, figure 8, figure 8. It makes it very simple and easy and very beautiful. Now be careful not to drag the knife all the way down to the crust so that you don't have a broken up crust. Just do it very lightly on the top of the cream cheese. If you have any extra cream cheese filling at the end, like I did, just continue to add it wherever you think it would go well, and then once again continue to make your little figure 8 swirls. Don't overdo your swirls, because if you do, you're just gonna mesh all the colors together. You get what I'm saying? So just do it very lightly until you see the beautiful design you'd like. And then here I am once again doing it in my other pan. As I mentioned before, I baked one in this silicone mold. I wanted to see which one would bake better. To be honest, I can't remember which one baked better. I think they were both pretty amazing. They did very well in either baking tray, although I will say that the silicone mold, it's easier to take out, when it's done baking, because you can easily pop it out, cut a slice and pop it out. But it can also work out with the glass one because you're going to put parchment paper into it, so then you can easily just pop a square out. Okay, once your swirls are all done, you will bake this for 35 to 40 minutes until the center has a very slightly jiggle, but at the same time the edges are set. So boom, look at this beautifully baked cream cheese. This is how it should look. As you see, when I stuck my little tool in there, it came out clean. That's another way to tell if it is baked. As I always say, everyone's oven is different, so please make sure to check that yours is not over baking. Maybe start it at 30 minutes. You can always get creative and use different molds to bake this in. Make sure that you allow this to completely cool down before cutting it and before enjoying it. Honestly, it tastes better when it's chill. And look at how beautiful these pumpkin cream cheese bars came out. They're absolutely gorgeous and so delicious. These are a perfect recipe for fall time or really any season if you are a fan of pumpkin. And cream cheese, of course. You have to like cream cheese in order to enjoy this recipe. It is very cream cheesy. Cream cheesy, yes. I think making this full recipe as I did would be great for like a gathering, a party, an event, or a big dinner, you know, so you could share with all your loved ones and maybe even have extra. You can cut them into smaller pieces, of course, as you please, or you can just bake these for yourself or your family at home and save the rest, of course. Leftovers can be kept in the fridge for up to 3 days or the freezer for up to 1 month. Although this tastes better when it's fresh, of course. If you want to be extra, you could probably enjoy this with like some whipped topping, some whipped cream kind of thing. But also these are just super incredible. Simple, just like that. Alright, anyways, this recipe is done and over with. I don't know what else to include for you all. Just make sure that you don't overbake these because it is cream cheese. And you also don't want to overbake the crust. You want like a soft crust, not like you bite into it and it's this hard-ass crust. You know what I mean? Let me know if you enjoyed this recipe. Did you give it a try? What did you think? Did it work out for you? Did you enjoy it? What other recipes would you like to see from me this fall or any other season, really? I truly hope that you enjoyed this recipe. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and check out all of my other recipes. I have these really fun Halloween themed cookies, pumpkin tiramisu, pumpkin chocolate chip cookies. Those were all so divine. Some of the favorite recipes that I have ever baked, honestly. Aside from all those pumpkin flavored desserts, I also have, you know, the classic chocolate chip cookies and cacao cookies, bread loaves, all that delicious stuff. And I recently made sugar-free chocolate chip cookies, which I'm very excited to share with you all. I really want to get into making desserts that have less sugar, so I really look forward to that, and I hope that you do as well. Alright, that is all for now. Thank you so much for watching this video and tuning in. Subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it.